this was my favorite breakdown and reality check that I read in The Psychology of Money. It comes from chapter 10, where Morgan breaks down how we spend our money. First, there's the basics. So we're talking food, water, shelter, that type of thing. Then beyond that, there's another level of comfortable basics. So to me, that's like having a good mattress so that you get good night's sleep, or a decent fridge that can keep your food cold, that kind of thing. Then there's another level of basics that are not only comfortable, but it's also entertaining and enlightening. So I like to think of this as having Netflix or an air fryer. To me, it's something that you don't necessarily need, but it is something that makes life a little easier and comfortable and enjoyable. Because yes, throwing my veggies in my air fryer for them to come out perfectly crispy in just a few minutes is enjoyable for me. But Morgan goes on to say that spending beyond that is where your ego starts to play a role, as your motivation beyond your purchases may begin to be about showing people that you have or had money. He says this as he's pointing out that many people say that they don't have money to save when really they do. They just have overwhelmingly labeled things as needs when they really are much more of wants. If you want to increase your savings, he says, it doesn't mean you need more income, but rather you need more humility. You have to desire less and care less about how people see you to keep more of your money in your account. And this is his point as to why money is so rooted in psychology, because of our motivations behind spending. Now again, this was interesting to me because I can see some truth in this. I think that our desires can get out of control to where we spend more than what we should. I'm super guilty of that. I can also see how ego can play a role in spending too. We may not all want to admit it, but I'm sure all of us are guilty of a purchase here or there that we made solely because it's the trend or style or attractive name brand. However, again, this is a shades of gray thing to me and not all the way black and white. I think some of our purchasing can come from healing our inner child. Things that we wanted growing up that our families couldn't afford, so it could play a huge role in it. So I think ego can be a primary reason, but I think that there could be smaller reasons as well as to why people may spend beyond it. I do want to remind you that he's not talking about people in poverty, okay? Note that his comments are about people that spend beyond a low level of materialism, meaning people who can already afford the comfortable basics pretty well. And so they're going over and beyond that. So my takeaway here is examining the why behind my spending. Why do I feel like I need this or want this? Really taking a clear look at my own desire levels and having an honest moment with myself of how those purchases is actually pushing back my long-term financial goals. We don't like to think of those type of consequences, but forcing myself to literally look at the numbers of how this purchase now has made it to where I can't hit the savings mark by this certain date could be the motivation need to stay disciplined with my spending.